sent the message. You explained yourself. You showed up, made the call, wrote the email, defended your name in a room that had already decided. And you lost. Not because you were wrong, because you moved. The moment you reacted, they had you. The moment you explained, you told them you were afraid. The moment you chased, you told them exactly where you stood. And where you stood was below them. Here is what Machiavelli buried inside 500 years of political survival. Power does not beg. Power does not run. Power does not justify itself to people who chose not to understand it. The world does not reward the loudest, the most loyal, or the most hurt. It rewards the most controlled, the most patient, the ones who understood early that the war is not where most people are looking. You think more effort will fix it, more words, more reach, more hustle. But Machiavelli would stop you right there and say, the real battlefield is inside. The real loss happens before you open your mouth. There are 7 laws, 7 principles forged from cold political survival, not moral philosophy, not self-help wisdom, not a church sermon on grace. 7 laws about what it actually costs to react, to explain, and to chase, and what becomes available to you the moment you stop. Some of what you're about to hear will feel wrong. Good. That feeling is the distance between where you are and where these laws live. If you've ever watched someone less qualified get treated with more respect, stayed awake replaying the moment you said too much, or worked harder and harder towards something that kept moving further away, you're exactly where this begins. Law 1. Never react in public. The most dangerous moment in a man's life is not danger. It is the moment he feels provoked. Because the second you react, you lose the narrative, and you don't get it back. It doesn't matter if you're right. It doesn't matter if the insult was unfair, the attack was unprovoked, or every person in the room knows you were wronged. What they remember is how you moved. Machiavelli was precise about this. A ruler who cannot control his face in public cannot control his court in private. Composure is not a feeling, it is a signal. And the signal you send in the moment of provocation decides what rank the world assigns you. Marcus Aurelius ruled the most powerful empire on earth for nearly 2 decades. He was surrounded by men who wanted him to react. His co-emperor drank while he governed. His son was becoming the man Marcus feared most. Senators whispered, generals questioned, and Marcus, inside all of that, kept writing private words like, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." He did not fight every insult in public. He fought the only battle that mattered, in private, in his journal, in his discipline. The reactive man sees the insult and answers it immediately. He defends, he fires back, he explains his position while the room watches him unravel. The strategic man sees the same insult and files it, not out of weakness, out of intelligence. Think about the last time you reacted, in a meeting, in a relationship, online. What did it actually cost you? A predator does not announce itself before it moves. Silence is not weakness. Silence is the weapon of a man who has already decided the outcome. The man who reacts always fights on someone else's terms. The man who pauses, who holds the pressure in his chest and doesn't move, chooses his own terms, his own moment, his own ground. And that silence never arrives alone. It always travels with a second law, one that most men break the moment they think they've passed the first test. Law 2. Never explain yourself. Explanation is confession. Every time you explain your decision, your choice, your behavior, you hand the other person a trial transcript and invite them to play judge. Machiavelli wrote about this in The Language of Rulers. A prince who constantly justifies himself signals to his subjects that he doubts his own authority. And the moment they sense that doubt, they begin testing it. Julius Caesar did not explain his crossing of the Rubicon to the Senate before he crossed it. He marched. The very act, without apology, without defense, was the statement. The Senate had the power to argue. Caesar made argument irrelevant. In the modern world, think about the leaders who never build their confidence from validation. They present, they state, they declare, and then they execute. They are often difficult, often misunderstood, but they do not explain themselves to critics while building. Because explanation invites negotiation, and negotiation shifts authority. You've done this. Someone questions your decision, and some deep instinct, some need to be understood, to be seen fairly, to be given the benefit of the doubt, takes over. You begin. You give the context, the circumstances, the reason behind the reason. And the more you explain, the more they understand one thing. You need their approval. That need is the wound. Ask yourself honestly, who are you explaining yourself to right now? And do they want to understand you, or are they waiting for more to use? The man who needs understanding from everyone is ruled by everyone. The strategic man makes his moves. He lets the results carry the argument, not because he's cold, because he understands that the world respects conviction far more than clarity. Stop justifying. Start moving. If these laws are landing, if something here is shifting how you see your own behavior, subscribe, not because I'm asking, because every word that follows requires you to be here to receive it. Law 3. Never chase what withdraws from you. The thing that retreats from you smells one thing: desperation. And desperation is the scent of a man who has forgotten what he is. Machiavelli wrote that fortune favors the bold, but there is a version of boldness that destroys you. It is the boldness of the man who pursues what does not want him, who keeps showing up where he is not wanted, who mistakes motion for magnetism. Sun Tzu understood terrain. He knew that the general who holds the high ground does not descend to meet the enemy in the valley. He waits. He lets the enemy climb toward him. He lets them exhaust themselves in pursuit. Hannibal did not chase Rome. Rome chased Hannibal all the way into the trap at Cannae. 70,000 Roman soldiers walked into destruction because they could not resist the lure of pursuit. They saw him, they felt the pressure to move, and they moved. And they never came back. Who are you chasing right now? The relationship where you send the third message with no reply? The client who keeps thinking about it? The friend who goes cold but never fully disappears? The position you keep performing for without progress? Every time you chase, you confirm the dynamic. You tell them where you stand, below them, behind them, in pursuit. A man who knows his own value does not chase. He builds. He positions. He becomes the kind of person that things move toward him, not the kind of person that runs toward things. The door left slightly open is not an invitation. It is a test, and every time you sprint through it without being asked, you fail it. The strategic man closes the loop. He pulls back. He redirects his energy inward. He builds something real, and then he watches, with calm, patient curiosity, what moves towards him when he stops chasing. Most men never discover what that feels like because they can't hold still enough to find out. But staying still when someone withdraws is only half the law. What happens when they come after your name? When someone else is talking about you and the pull is to correct the record? That question belongs to the next law. Law 4. Never defend your reputation. This feels wrong. The instinct to correct a lie, a rumor, a misrepresentation is almost physical. Of course you respond. Of course you set the record straight. But Machiavelli saw what that impulse actually does. Every time you respond to a whisper, you transform it into an announcement. You confirm it has teeth. You make the story twice as loud as it would have been if you had simply kept building. Abraham Lincoln was one of the most publicly mocked men in American political history. Caricatured in the press, called inexperienced, called ugly, described as unqualified, awkward, unfit for the office. And Lincoln, for the most part, let it pass. Not because it didn't register, because he understood something most people never grasp. If you respond to every attack, you give every attacker equal authority over your name. His record became his defense. Nothing else was needed. In business, the leaders and brands that try to fight back against every critic often find themselves extending the very story they're trying to kill. The companies that recover fastest from scandal move. They don't explain. They build something that makes the criticism irrelevant. You know this dynamic personally. Someone says something about you to mutual friends in a group you're not in. And the pull, the almost magnetic pull, is to fix it. Resist. Your response is what keeps it alive. A man tending his own field has no time to chase every crow. And when what you're building is real, when the work speaks for itself, insults slide off your name like water off stone. But here is what this law is not. It is not about pretending the hurt didn't land. Pretending is how you lose. Processing privately, using the wound as data, is how you survive. That is a different and colder skill. And it is exactly what the next law is about. Law 5. Never show you've been hurt. Around 55 AD, a slave named Epictetus had his leg seized and twisted by his master. He is reported to have said calmly, "You will break it." His master continued. The leg broke. Epictetus said, "Did I not tell you that you would break it?" No rage, no tears, no begging, just calm, unshakable acknowledgement of what had just happened. This is not a story about a man without feelings. It is a story about a man who understood that showing pain to an enemy is the same as handing them a weapon, and quietly describing exactly where to press next. Machiavelli knew this. A ruler who lets the court see his panic invites the court to test it again. And they will test it, because people are drawn almost magnetically to the place where they found weakness before. Pain is intelligence. Vulnerability is data. Given carefully to the right people in the right moment, it deepens trust and builds genuine bonds. But shown reflexively to anyone who pushes hard enough, it is an open wound that the wrong people will keep returning to. The reactive man bleeds visibly. He vents, he posts, he makes sure everyone knows how much that thing cost him, and in doing so, shows every watching person exactly where to press. The strategic man absorbs. He does not deny what happened. He processes it somewhere private. He studies the wound. What did this reveal about that person, about that situation, about the systems he's inside of? And then he returns to the room with the same face he left with. Think about the moments that caused you the most lasting damage. How much of it came from what happened, and how much came from how visibly you reacted to it? Your composure is not indifference. It is armor. Wear it. But composure is reactive. It responds to what's already happening. The coldest law in Machiavelli's entire playbook is not about composure under pressure. It is about positioning before the pressure arrives, about turning invisibility into a weapon. That is where the next law lives. Law 6. Never correct those who underestimate you. Let them. This will go against everything you've been trained to do. Advocate for yourself, assert your value, make sure you're seen, make sure you're recognized. But Machiavelli's coldest weapon was never violence. It was strategic patience while the enemy built a completely wrong picture of you. Julius Caesar was not born into power. He was born into debt and a branch of the Julian family that had lost most of its political standing. The Roman elite dismissed him. They considered him charming, entertaining, a populist without real threat, too flamboyant to be dangerous, too indebted to be respected. He let them think that. He borrowed enormous sums. He built political loyalties across every class of Roman society. He cultivated relationships where the elite built contempt. He moved quietly, consistently, and in directions the elite weren't watching. By the time they recognized what he was, it was too late to stop him. Amazon was described as just a bookstore for years. Analysts publicly questioned whether the model would survive. And while they laughed, Amazon was building the infrastructure that would eventually hold the internet, not with press conferences, not with rebuttals, with construction. In your life, the people who underestimate you are not your enemies. They are your free passes. The coworker who assumes you won't speak when it matters, the competitor who assumes you won't survive the shift, the person who left assuming you wouldn't find your footing. Do not correct them. Let them sleep on that assumption. Because the man who announces his power before he uses it gives his opponents time to prepare. The man who moves quietly, who positions deliberately, builds without announcement, arrives before anyone knew he was coming, holds an advantage that cannot be defended against, because no one defends against what they can't see. There is one law remaining, and it may be the most important of all, because you can master every other law in this video and still lose everything if you make one error, if you fight on the wrong ground. Law 7. Never fight on their terms. In 217 BC, Rome was bleeding. Hannibal had crossed the Alps and destroyed 2 Roman armies in less than a year. The Senate was close to panic. They appointed a dictator, an emergency measure reserved for existential crises. His name was Quintus Fabius Maximus. And Fabius did the most radical thing any Roman general had ever attempted. He refused to fight. Not from fear, from calculation. Fabius understood Hannibal's strength, open field battle, superior tactics, the kind of decisive engagement where Hannibal's genius turned Roman numbers into a liability. That was Hannibal's terrain, those were Hannibal's terms. So Fabius denied him. He shadowed Hannibal through the hills of Italy. He cut supply lines. He picked off isolated units. He bled Hannibal from the edges, slowly, without ever giving him the battle he needed. Rome called Fabius a coward. They gave him a name, Cunctator, the delayer. The Senate, furious with his patience, overrode him. They sent generals who were not cowards, generals who would fight, on Hannibal's terms. The result was Cannae, the most catastrophic defeat in Roman military history. 70,000 soldiers dead in a single afternoon, surrounded by a smaller force because they attacked instead of waited. Fabius was eventually recalled. His strategy was eventually adopted. His patience, his refusal to fight where Hannibal was strongest, saved Rome. The delayer became the shield. Most conflicts in your life are not worth fighting, but the ones that are, the ones where the outcome genuinely matters, those require you to choose your terrain. The argument someone initiates at the worst possible moment when you're tired, stretched, emotionally off balance, that is not your terrain. The negotiation where you're already behind before it starts, not your terrain. The conversation designed to make you react before you've had time to think, not your terrain. Every time you fight in those conditions, even if you're stronger, you're walking into Cannae. The strategic man delays when delay is the weapon. He chooses when to engage, not just how. He lets the other person exhaust their momentum first. Then he moves, deliberately, from position, with time on his side. This is not about avoiding conflict. Some conflicts are unavoidable and must be met. It is about refusing to step into the valley when you own the high ground. Time is the ally of the patient, and the most reliable enemy of the impulsive. 7 laws, and every single one of them demands the same thing. Not strength, not intelligence, not strategy, not yet. Control. The world has never rewarded the most emotional man in the room. It has rewarded the most disciplined, the ones who could hold still when everything screamed move, who could say nothing when saying nothing was the most powerful statement available, who could walk away from a fight, from a person, from a moment, and let their absence do what their words never could. Machiavelli did not write for the naive. He wrote for the ones willing to be honest, uncomfortable honest, about what their behavior is actually costing them, about how much of what they call effort is actually fear wearing the costume of action. The man who never reacts becomes unpredictable. The man who never explains becomes authoritative. The man who never chases becomes magnetic. That is not a personality type. That is a practice. A daily, uncomfortable, often solitary practice of choosing the higher law over the immediate impulse, of being the one who holds the position when everyone else breaks. Most people will watch this. They'll feel something shift for a few hours, then something will provoke them, a message, a meeting, a moment, and they'll react, they'll explain, they'll chase, and the loop continues. But a few, the ones who came here ready to see something real, will engrave these laws, not on paper, in behavior. If that's you, comment one word below: cold. Because that is exactly what this requires. Not coldness towards others, coldness towards your own impulse, towards your own ego, towards the part of you that still believes your reaction will change what someone already decided. There is a second video that goes deeper into one of these laws, the one most people misapply in ways that cost them everything. It is already waiting. Watch it next. Progress over perfection.